Carbonara is simply one of the great classic Italian pasta dishes, and this is how I have adapted it for myself. The magic ingredient in any carbonara, though, is egg. The sauce is basically a custard. We'll need 1 egg yolk per person, and I'm making 2 portions. I always just crack the egg and pass the yolk between the 2 halves until the white just kind of slimes its way out. Doesn't matter if you retain a little white in there. In the United States, carbonara is often a glorified cream sauce. Cream is not traditional in Italy. Over the years, I've settled on using a very small amount of milk, not cream. This is really just for the color. You'll see why later. Now we need a huge amount of pepper. Some people say the carbon in the name of this dish derives from the black color of all that pepper. That probably isn't true, but this is still good with a ton of pepper in it. Likewise, a ton of pecorino or parmesan cheese. I basically just fill my measuring cup up with it, stir that up smooth, and there's my sauce, minus one crucial ingredient yet to come. I like a lot of garlic in this, so I'll just cut the root ends off like 5 cloves, crush them with the side of the knife to loosen the skins, pop them out, and look at that. That's the green sprout that grows in the core of garlic cloves as they age. Everybody says you got to take that out because it's bitter. I don't know why we just accept such dictums when we can simply taste for ourselves. Yeah, that's not nearly as bad as people lead you to believe. The only time I worry about taking it out is when I'm going to have some raw garlic dominating a dish, and even then I think I'm being too cautious. Just chop all that up. A little bit of fresh herb. I've got some sage and rosemary. You could do all of this prep while your pasta is cooking, but carbonara is kind of tricky and time-sensitive in its final stages. So this is one of those times when I like to do all of my prep in advance. And I like to have a lot of vegetable in my carbonara, not traditional, but I don't need to be eating so many damn carbs. 1 big zucchini or a couple smaller ones. Credit where it's due, I got this idea years ago from a Jamie Oliver show. Stem and blossom ends off, and I think a lot of knife injuries happen when people try to cut round things that then roll out of control. The way I deal with something like this is to hook my stabilizing hand above and around the knife. Once it's in half, you don't have to deal with that wobbly side anymore. Just lay it on the cut side, and I'll cut this into quarters. Inside each of these is the seedy core. This part of the zucchini tends to cook faster than the rest and go kind of slimy. So I just like to shave off that triangle of seeds and toss it out. If you do this, you'll have a nice, firm, regularly shaped piece that cooks really evenly. I want my zucchini crisp. I'm cutting them down further into pieces roughly the size and shape of the pasta I like to use for this, which is penne. Prep is now done, and just incorporating that much veg has already knocked a lot of calories out of the dish to come. I'm also getting control of my excessive carb intake thanks to the sponsor of this video, Magic Spoon cereal. My whole life I've loved sugary kid cereals, and I really thought that I was done being able to eat them until I tasted Magic Spoon. Look at this. 0 sugar, 11 grams of protein, and only 3 net carbs, 110 calories a serving. It's grain-free, gluten-free, soy-free. What the heck is it made out of then? Well, believe it or not, it's basically protein powder. It's milk protein that they have scienced into a cereal. The texture is almost identical to normal cereal, and the flavor is identical, I think. You got your cocoa, fruity, frosted, and blueberry. These colors are from vegetable juice, though you'd never guess it from tasting. These stay crunchy in milk or whatever milk substitute you're using. You gotta try Magic Spoon. You can order some online and get free shipping by using my promo code Ragusia, or you can go to magicspoon.com/Ragusia. If you don't like it, they'll refund your money, no questions asked, but I think you're gonna like it. It's what I'm having for breakfast every morning these days. That code and URL are in the description. Thank you, Magic Spoon. Now, time to actually cook this carbonara. A pot of salted water for the pasta goes on high heat, and while that comes to a boil, I will grab a much bigger pan where the finished dish will be assembled, and into this I will simply snip my bacon with kitchen shears. You can do that with a knife, it's fine. The thicker sliced the bacon is, the better, IMHO. Maybe 3 ounces of bacon per person, 85 grams per person. Carbonara is traditionally made with guanciale or pancetta, but any cured fatty pork situation is going to be fine. You could skip this and just use some olive oil if you want to keep it meatless, but I might also consider a meatless imitation bacon. I've got that in a cold pan, and now I will turn the heat on medium. Fat starts to render or melt out of the tissue at a much lower temperature than meat starts to brown. So starting it in a cold pan gives the fat a good head start. I want lots of rendered bacon fat in my sauce, and I don't want huge blubbery pieces of solid fat swimming around in the sauce, so I am rendering that fat. Water is boiling, so in goes like 3 ounces of pasta per person, again 85 grams. I'm using chickpea pasta because I'm no fun anymore. It's higher protein, lower carb. I would cook any pasta for this dish a minute or two less than what the package recommends because it's going to cook some more in the pan. If your bacon ever seems like it's outrunning your pasta, like it's going to burn before the pasta is ready, just take it off the heat for a sec. But I like to get my bacon pieces really dark and crispy and get a lot of bacon fond building on the bottom of the pan, more than I suspect is traditional. Merely 1 minute before draining my pasta, I will stir in my zucchini. You could hit those with some seasoning, but I think they'll get enough from the salty bacon. Forgive me, I need to TikTok. Literally right before I drain my pasta, I will stir in my garlic and turn the heat off. Time to drain the pasta, but first I will put a little glass into my sink. Carbonara sauce is generally made with starchy, salty pasta water, and I think this is a very convenient way to retain some of it. Just try to catch some of it in the glass as you drain through a gap in the lid. That zucchini might seem very undercooked, but by the time it actually hits the plate, it'll be perfect, and in goes the pasta to fry for a sec in the bacon fat. See that bacon fond? I will now deglaze that with the pasta water. I want to be conservative about the pasta water. I can always add more later if the sauce is too tight, but at the same time you want enough in there because the pan needs to be sloshy before the egg mixture goes in. That will help it integrate more smoothly, and the starch will make it less likely that the egg will curdle, and here we go. This is the tricky part. Stir, 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 or you'll instantly have scrambled eggs. Remember, my heat is off. You got to give this sauce just enough heat to make it cook to thicken, but if it gets too hot, it will start to curdle and go grainy. In fact, let me show you what that looks like. A little more pasta water in the sauce. If it's looking too thick, in goes the herbs at the last second, and look at this. See the texture of that sauce? It's gritty, it's grainy. This happens when you let carbonara sauce get too hot, and there's really no way to fix it once it's happened. Let me show you how to prevent that. I'll do this one with real pasta, just so you can see how that looks too. Let it fry a little bit, deglaze the pan with pasta water, and then this time I'll take the pan all the way off the hot burner and wait for it to stop bubbling. This is a lot safer, letting the pot cool way down before the egg mixture goes in. Stir, 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 and now the egg is smoothly integrated, but you can see it hasn't cooked yet. It's still really liquid. Now I will simply return the pan to the heat, stir constantly, and watch it really close. In an instant, you will see it thicken and go custardy, and the second that happens, back off the heat this comes. Adjust with more pasta water. Remember that the sauce will thicken as it cools, so it should look a little too loose in the pan. Herbs in at the last second, and now that is perfect. Note the kind of cafe au lait color of the sauce. That's because of the milk. I like a lot of dissolved bacon fond in my carbonara, so without the milk to balance that brown color, the sauce would be unappetizingly brown. Do yours more traditionally if you want, but however you make it, dang, that is a classic for a reason.